A very warm welcome and very happy to be with all of you. The last session of the World Sustainable Procurement Day 2025. And for the last session, I am so honored to be with wonderful people. Nancy, Senior Director, Industrial Transformation Pathway, Jaime, Co-Chair SPP Supply Diversity Chapter, and Shruti, Sourcing Sustainability Program Manager of Novonesis. I'm super grateful to be with you this morning. My name is Bertrand Conqueret. I'm the CPO of Enkel and also the co-founder of the Sustainability Procurement Pledge together with Thomas. So this morning, the next 30 minutes, that's the time to wrap up. Because this year, it was not only 24 hours, it was 25, 1 hour more because of content. And we did not want it to cut content. We wanted to have content. But 1 hour more also to reflect and to have the next 30 minutes together with you and then to go through the journey we have just been through the last 24 hours, but even more together with Jaime, Nancy, and Shruti to look back since you have also met with SPP and that you have also contributed to make SPP what it is today and what it will be also tomorrow. So engaging with the three of you will also be an opportunity in the chat also to address your questions that you would like to address to Jaime, Nancy, and Shruti, and have also that moment of reflection that we want to take home, and then building up on all of this as of Monday morning, being today Friday. I'd like to go to Jaime first, because Jaime, you have been since SPP, with SPP, since the beginning. And then you have been through this journey building upon that community, engaging yourself, reflecting, and driving a lot of activities within SPP, also into your activities, into your communities. And if you would have a close back to the last 5 years, Jaime, what have you experienced with SPP? What are you taking today with you? And what will you take with you after these sessions that we have been through the last 24 hours? And last but not least, take a moment of inspiration, if I may, that we like to take with us, and then building upon that impact, which also brings all of us together. But let's be back to the last 5 years and bring it to 2025 and moving beyond. Jaime.
Thank you, Bertrand. It's a great pleasure to be here. I mean, that's the closure of WSPD 25, right? Getting feelings of WSPD 26 already. But let me go back. I think that in one sentence, the response to you about the last 5 years would be, what an amazing ride, really. As you said, I joined probably in the beginning. I remember it was cold, it was dark, it was lockdown time here in Europe. So it was late 2020 or early 21, something like this. And SPP for me in the beginning was predominantly just the ambassador's calls. Yeah, I joined as one ambassador. And I remember, for example, one funny experience then. In one of those calls, the Zoom account that we had would not accommodate so many people that would like to join. So in one of these calls, Thomas had to entertain everybody that was in the call, while Ollie would need to go upgrade the license so that more people could join the call. It was, yeah, incredible. But then fast forward, I think that late summer, the same year, 21, there was then the call to set up chapters. Yeah, and I thought, well, I'm part of the community. I would like to volunteer, do more for SPP. So I did volunteer to build and lead a chapter that would be called Social Procurement, that then became Supplier Diversity. And in the beginning, it was Alex Tarmo, who at that time used to work for Unilever, and I leading the chapter, just the two of us, and supported as well by Astrid Boston and Sonia Kupli. Yeah, amazing job that they did back then. But it was us just bouncing ideas. How could we do it? Who would we need to help us? Events, etc. When we first met, it was perhaps April or May 22, face to face in Amsterdam in a side event on supplier diversity. what did strike me the most was that immediately, for me at least, I felt like I have been working with them for months or perhaps even years. We knew exactly what we wanted to do. And this is to a great extent, if I reflect on it, because of the shared vision. There was this willingness for us to work together to contribute and deliver an impact. And the impact would be completely aligned with the vision. Yeah. Um, Now, a lot of things happened since then. We have the League of Champions, we have the transformational panel. And what I'm very proud of is to see that SPP, which started as this small movement by crazy people, perhaps, now has a very active and heard voice in all means of procurement space or sustainability space. I mean, that's something that if we think about it, it's wonderful. Yeah. And this is what I would like to see more and more progressing. I know that we have some very concrete evidences that we are doing that already. I mean, the guide, which we published 2 or 3 years ago, the carbon pricing principles more recently, and something that is, I think that I'm very proud of, which is the project that our chapter has been supporting predominantly last year because we just closed this European project called Buy Social Europe B2B, which was co-funded by the European Commission and SAP with the objective of understanding the opportunities, the challenges of building a marketplace for social procurement in Europe. So bringing corporates with social enterprises into a common marketplace, and how can they, or could we boost then this marketplace? Um, and now reflecting, perhaps to close off here, I know that I'm running out of time, with something that I did experience this time on World Sustainable Procurement Day. The session that I was moderating yesterday on social procurement, and we were featuring a report from the World Economic Forum that was published in Davos 2 months ago, and then one social enterprise from Mexico and IKEA, because they partner. This company is called Someone Somewhere from Mexico. And in the chat towards the end, there was a question, how can we balance, or how can we focus more on the S of ESG? Because for the right reasons, there is a lot of focus on the E, and we have to focus on the G as well. But the S is always felt like a little bit second priority. And the question, I completely agree. How can we, it's not doing more, but it's balancing out, giving the right focus to all of three of them. And we answered the question, and I wanted to share here some of the numbers of this social enterprise in Mexico, because it will show that by doing the S, you can achieve all of the others as well equally. So this company has been established, I think it's since 2016, 2017, something like this. Basically what they do, they recycle textiles, fabrics that otherwise would be thrown away. They create new threads, and then with those threads, they're artisans, they produce new products that are sold to companies like IKEA, Adidas, Apple, and many other large corporations. And in those, I don't know, 8, 9 years since the foundation, they have managed to take 3,000 people out of poverty in Mexico. Their monthly income increased by 300%. And they have saved over 7,000 tons of CO2 emissions, because instead of producing new fabric, they are recycling those that would be ended up in a landfill or something like this. So again, yeah, this was a huge takeaway for me from yesterday. How can we balance out the S out of the ESG equation? And I will stop here. I'm happy to take questions later on, but I know that we have more to hear. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much, Jaime. And I know why you are with us and the impact you have into the organization. And you are really inviting so many people to join SPP, this community, and bringing also the S up to the organizations and the attention. So I'm going to you, Nancy. And Nancy, the first time I met you, I remember it was the first physical meeting of ASPP going together. It was in Berlin. You were there. And you challenged us. You very much challenged us. You were challenging us as leaders and to say, up your sleeves, guys. It's the time to go. And procurement is sexy. This is exactly what you said. You have all in your hands to make it happen. Value chains, end to end, supplier communities. That's the time to stand up. Please make it. And you join us. You loved us so much that you are even part of our advisory board. I mean, this is just, it was falling in love, but the more than love, it's really getting things up. And today, you are with us. And it will be very, very great to hear from you at that moment of time. What's your message for the procurement organizations to move forward, to drive forward? And what have you taken from this WSPD 4th edition and that you would like us to really get through as of Monday morning?
Well, thank you. Yes, I thought procurement was sexy then. I think it's even sexier now. And I think a big change that's happened is that between then and now, many, many, many more people also think procurement is sexy. And they think it's sexy because they're recognizing the impact that it can have for sustainability. I think this year's World Sustainable Procurement Day comes, of course, in the context of very challenging times. And what I'm excited in my role at WBCSD, where I am part of an organization that's working with, I think now 250 companies as well, is bringing to the advisory function that I have for SPP a very real awareness that it's still necessary for us to roll up our sleeves, because even in these challenging times, I see more companies relying more on their procurement function to really have the change that they want. And it's exactly as Amy said, it's not only environmental, it's social, right? But it's also as much environmental, carbon, social, nature, and biodiversity. And now as we see the impacts of climate change happening, it's adding to that resilience to these impacts, but also now resilience to the political fragmentation that's in the world, which of course disrupts the supply chains that we need to have. So for me right now, I think there's even a greater need for an SPP, because what it allows is for many to learn from each other quickly, going either specific topics, such as what Jamie talked about, supplier diversity, the social part, but also bringing in these new topics, new innovative approaches to these topics, the carbon work that we did this year, right? But then also, it's not only that sharing and that collaboration, it's really now bringing these topics together, integrating, because whereas we're in this environment where we need to focus, as he had said in his opening comments, on these different topics, we're also not being resourced much more. So how do we do that in a way that keeps us sane, right? So I think, again, SPP is giving us an opportunity to learn from each other, to focus deeply, but increasingly, and what we've just experienced in the last 25 hours is to actually start making the ties across these topics, right? And I think what I'm super excited about is I know that we have membership goals. And I know that when I first joined you in Berlin, there was like, wow, can we actually get to 1 million members? I mean, can Ollie get that many licenses for us to meet together on Zoom? And I say yes. And that's a great problem to have, because we are by procurement for procurement, and there's nobody else. And with this increasing recognition that procurement is fundamental to address the carbon goals of organizations, the social impact, opportunities and risks, the nature and biodiversity emphasis, as well as the resiliency from a supply chain perspective, of course we're going to get those members. And I think the collaboration that we allow is fantastic. I think the innovations that we're surfacing are fantastic as well. And my big takeaway from this the fourth of our celebration, is two things. One, the true tongue-in-cheek that there just isn't a big enough cup of coffee to keep me up for all the great content. So we're gonna, we might have to have now a day and a half. So there's a small period of sleeping in between so that we can make sure we're not missing any of this as it's happening live. But joking aside, I think what really is the big takeaway is how much of a myth is technology? How much in the sense that is it going to help or hinder? And I was very captivated by the conversation, of course, about AI. And if we're going to be looking at all of these topics as procurement practitioners, and in the sense of trying to address carbon in our work, trying to address social, trying to address nature, biodiversity, resilience, circularity, the way to do that is almost overwhelming. And so can AI be something that we actually start leveraging? And whether or not, in particular, agentic AI, right? That causes some of that rote decision making to be taken off of our shoulders and potentially happening elsewhere, so we can really be thinking and grappling with the big discussions that are happening with our suppliers. That I found thought prompting, interesting, potentially positive, and a little bit of scary. So, and that's what we're supposed to do. So thank you for having me here on the closing panel. Thanks for having me on the advisory board, and thanks for being SPP.
Thank you so much, Nancy. And thank you also very much for your inspiration. And I would like to go to our third guest this morning, Shruti. Already 3 years with the community, and you have been through that journey as ambassador and step by step taking activities and going deeper into the organization. And you are in particular into the champion program and the carbon pricing program. And you are there today also with us. So I mean, this is the morning where we could also explore with you, what is your own journey? What is the journey which has captivated you to join SPP, to engage with SPP? What's for you? What's your daily business? What's for the community? What would you like to share with us this morning, inspiring many to also go in the journey with you?
Definitely. Maybe I'll just start saying it's such an honor to be here with you three, right? Because I'm someone who has personally benefited from what you have started, Bertrand, together with Thomas, and has also used a lot of resources that you, Jamie, Nancy, have contributed to this community here, right? So as you mentioned, it has been quite a journey. When I signed up first time to be an SPP ambassador 3 years back and started tuning into the different SPP sessions, I should say I was so amazed by how many resources that was already there. So I was at a part of my career where I was a procurement program manager and then moved into this role because of my passion for sustainability, and was thinking, how do I build everything from scratch? But I didn't have to, because there was so much resources already available. And as Oli puts it, there's no excuses then to get started, right? So it was really to start using those resources. And I think what SPP and all the WSPD sessions have also been helpful is to bring an overview of what are all the connected initiatives happening. So for example, it was from SPP that I learned about Scope 3 peer group or Chancellery Lane project, the different regional chapters, etc. So we could pick and choose, where we can find our peers and partners to collaborate on this journey. We don't have to do this alone. And slowly then we started integrating this in using our take on these resources, building our own program. And then I think it was 2 years back, I hope I'm not wrong, the Danish chapter started with Flyer and Miguel as the co-chairs. And at that time, myself and the CP of Legacy Christian Hansen, one of the legacy companies of Novo Nestis, we got a chance to go there and present how we are working with sustainable procurement in our company. So I think that was also a chance. And then I think the Danish SPP chapter is quite strong now, also René now being one of the co-chairs. So it was all about how do we work in the local chapter to bring people together, share learnings, etc. And then last year we became Novonesis, and with even higher ambitions for sustainability. And then John Everett became our new CPO. And then it was a great opportunity that we showed even more commitment by being an SPP champion. So yeah, it has been a journey, as you can see, from a SPP ambassador to be a contributor in different setups, and now being a champion. And we are quite in the early days, so still exploring how we can best contribute to this community. But as we mentioned, Bertrand, some of the things that we are doing is definitely to promote SPP signups even more in our organization. We are piloting carbon pricing. So again, super excited to use the guide the community has put together and how we can utilize that. We've also been looking at what other resources, learning resources we can use internally, so we don't have to rebuild everything from scratch.
Thank you very, very much, Roti, and all the very best with all what you just said, because we need also these pilots, the pricing carbon and all initiative that we see across. So thanks a lot to the three of you, and using now the next 5 minutes, building upon what you just said, also to extend our thank you, to extend my thank you to all the speakers. I mean, you have been amazing, more than 100 speakers. And when I'm talking about the speakers, I have also in mind everybody who has helped the speakers to also go through these preparations and inviting us to this amazing 24 hours of content. What a gift. What a gift. And in the post, Catherine just shared with us that it is now available also on the platform, on Amidst. So what a gift. It's 24 hours of content, something that I can read again, listen again, capture, and find also new contact and share with my colleagues, my teams, my network. That's the community. This is what is SPP, and this is what we have built up together. But as I thanks very much all the speakers and all of you ambassadors, I also want to thank all our partners. Because without all these partners, all of you guys, we wouldn't be what we are today. We always say procurement for procurement, but procurement is a very big community. It goes even beyond procurement people. It goes to everybody associated to procurement, including academics. So important. But having said that, also, there is one partner I want to thank in particular today. It is Kathleen and her team, Supplier Day. It is the third year in a row that you guys who are making us able to make this happening. The magic is in your hands. No issue at all content, all people, broadcasting 24 hours, 25 even. This is just amazing. This is just amazing. And without you, SPP, WSPD would not exist. And you are just amazing, giving us that gift that we can be what we are today, a community inspiring, a community impacting, and a community making things happen. Because into this community, everybody has realized, alone I cannot make it. It's too big. And we need to be humble and modest. We cannot make it. We need to do it together. It's about planet, it's about people, it's about prosperity. It's extremely complex, but we get that energy from all of us. And this is what inspired us during the last 5 years. And as a co-founder with Thomas, I am so grateful to all of you. It was a conversation on a Saturday morning. We were thinking we're just crazy to think about this. And then a couple of people come together and the magic happened. And we realized, yes, we need to make it. We need to be courageous, and we need to learn courage from each other. We need to be passionate. We need also to be reflective. And as this is the combination of all of us which makes things happening. Because we are all together the generation to make it happen. It's a choice. But it is at the end of the day, us to make it. Right now. Not today. Not only tomorrow. Right now. And the days to come. And the weeks to come. It's our generation. And that's important to reflect on this. And as it is our generation, then it is all what we can combine together to make it happening. That's why this event is so important. We went through all the regions. We went through all the industries. We went through all many communities and expertise. And this is that combination which makes the things different and together to say, yes, we can make it happen. And this is why we are here this today. So this World Sustainable Procurement Day has been tremendous. And there is one thing that I want to add, which is also extremely strong for the future. Yes, this one is very much about content, but we have reached even the next level of something which is so important. It is not only equip, it is not only doing, it is empower. And what is very important, this agenda has been managed by the community, created by the community. So that for the first time, now we have an ownership. And because we have that ownership of so many people, passionate teams, and engaged and so professionals, I am extremely positive for the next 5 years to come. Extremely positive, because that is a sense of change that we have managed together. And together, this ownership will continue to grow. And then we will acquire and bring even more people onto the platform, onto the community. So we can say, we are procuring tomorrow, we are developing procure tomorrow. And at the end of the day, we will make sustainable procurement the default, as we said in New York recently. So thank you so much to all of you. It was a wonderful WSPD. WSPD 2025 is closing, but it is just starting with all the material that we have. And it's up to us to make a tremendous year and to have tremendous impact, welcoming you again in 2026. On the 20th, 21st of March, we need to decide 2026 with a new agenda and a community which will be even more larger and bigger than where we were this year. All the very best. Thank you so much, Nancy. Thank you so much, Shruti, to join me. Thank you so much, Jaime. And all the very, very best to all of you. SPP, you are great.
We are SPP,
the Sustainable Procurement Pledge.
Global community committed to a single grand goal.
To make sustainable procurement the default.
We think multi-generationally.
We make decisions that guide trillions of dollars.
We believe that sustainable sourcing practices are the fastest way for us to save the world.
This is a call to the unsung heroes.
You, the procurement professionals,
and your allies.
United we are changing tomorrow. For people and planet.
Together, we procure the future.
Sign the pledge.
Activate your power.
Join a community that gets it done.
Procure tomorrow.